This is a free sample of the book, Reinvent Ideal, What to Do When You're Depressed and No One Cares Because You're Not a Chick, by Cairo Copeland. The first half of this book is posted right here on YouTube, free for everyone to listen to. If you like this content and want to hear or read the rest, or want to listen to it free of ads, visit reinventideal.com/ideal. The book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/ideal.
Chapter 6. The Reality Principle. If we look at the previous described situations, being dumped, rejected, or held hostage in a loveless relationship, a large portion of the pain they distribute is brought on by a failure or refusal to accept reality. You don't want the relationship to end because you've grown too comfortable in it. You don't want to have to go back on the dating market and risk rejection. So you refuse to accept the fact that the relationship is over, and you do stupid things out of desperation that you'll later regret. Same with rejection. You can't accept the reality that not everyone is going to like you. The stinging pain is impressed upon you at both an emotional and physical level. The cultural conditioning you were raised with promised you that if you were nice, friendly, sweet, and had a lot going for you, women would want you. But this rejection disproves that. In a loveless relationship, particularly the cucked, guys keep their heads in the sand thinking one day things will get better, even as they gradually get worse. They put up with emotional abuse and blackmail, give up their dreams, and sacrifice the life they wanted, thinking that one day their woman will appreciate it, and finally love them in the manner they hope and expect. Almost half the pain all three guys face can be eliminated by accepting reality. They were all taught to believe that if they did what others asked of them, and bent over backwards for the happiness of others, even at the expense of their own, they'd have a problem-free life. Accepting reality is easy when you like what you see, but it only matters when you don't. In fact, that is when it's most critical. This belief is the equivalent of the man in Stephen Crane's poem. "I exist," the man said to the universe. "I don't give a shit," the universe responded. Life's not easy, life's not fair. And many times, it just plain sucks. And that is the reality principle. The universe on its own will not grant you a pleasant existence. There are 7 billion people on this earth. You are not going to win the hearts and minds of all of them. The planet has a circumference of nearly 25,000 miles. The entire 25,000 miles of people, other organisms, and stuff will not bend to your benefit, because all 7 billion people have their own interests. The world is ran by randomness and chaos. As a result, suck is the natural default state of life and the universe. A life lived without intentional living will suck naturally without any effort by the living to make it suck. To change reality, to push back against the suck, to actually have a pleasant existence, you have to put in the effort and do the work. Because this is not what was expected, it's often what makes us unhappy. The expectations gap. When our expectations are greater than reality, that significantly contributes as to why most people are so unhappy. They compare their experiences and reality with their expectations, which were based on imagination, past experiences, or standards set for them by others. I tell you that life naturally sucks by default, not to drop some black pill nihilism on you. This is to plea with you that the effort and work to make life better is not only worth doing, but it's absolutely necessary. If you will not do it, nothing I write can help you. Further, knowing that life is naturally sucky will close the expectations gap for you and prevent it from contributing to your unhappiness. Life is hard. Expect nothing different. Social imperatives will encourage you to expect more from life and each day, but these social imperatives only exist for the purpose of cohesion. They have no concern for the interests of the individual. They only leave you in peace if you conform to them. But when you do, you learn later that these social imperatives were not made in your favor. A great example is the social imperative to get married by a certain age. Many guys rush into fulfilling this before understanding who they really are and before thoroughly screening the woman. The impenetrable fortress of mental resilience and bullshit blockers can only be tested under fire. The universe will provide lots of fire. Because the default distribution of the universe is misfortune, we can fall prey to victimhood fast. Our thirst for justice is so strong that we've convinced ourselves that the world should be a fundamentally just place by nature. When we see a homeless guy on the street, we automatically assume he's a bum with a drug habit, and that's why he's there. But there could be so much more to the story. See, the Matrix you're awakening from is not like the Matrix in the Wachowski films. There is no architect working behind the scenes to ensure everything is balanced out. The world has no fair plan and it has no unfair plan because there's no plan at all. The universe is just amoral. With this in mind, can life be made better by simply accepting the unfairness of life as fact, expect it, and prepare to take it head on? I think so. The difficulties of life, the unfair dealings of fate, have nothing to do with whether you are a worthy person or not. We make ourselves more unhappy expecting better. If we could discipline our minds to decipher what we really mean when we think, I must have, or things must go this way, we'd be better off. Because in those situations, what we're really saying is, I expect this. We too easily see desires as needs and expectations. Much of the misery in the world was the result of poorly managed expectations. Strangely, what we expect has little influence on the external world, but great power on our internal worlds. We don't expect to have to do hard work to enjoy life because the people we see enjoying life don't appear to ever be working. There's that hot girl on Instagram that seems to always be on vacation and never seems to be working a job. Expecting to not have to work makes it hard to accept the reality that we must do hard work to be happy. Work avoidance is in our DNA. By default, humans are naturally lazy. It's built into us by evolution. Our hunter-gatherer ancestors only worked about 20 to 30 hours a week. More time was spent by them focusing on how to not burn calories than to get them. Before chasing an impala, they'd weigh the pros and cons, estimating if the impala would provide more calories and food than it took to catch it. The fact that we're paid on Fridays is a testament to human laziness. Employers started doing this because when they paid employees on Mondays, the employees didn't show up for the rest of the work week. But when they paid before the weekend, the employees often spent most of the money on those days off, which compelled them to return to work. So eager humans are to avoid work that new industries have been invented to appease this motive, like government jobs where no real work is done. However, in the end, the lazy man must work 4 times as hard to make up for the time wasted being lazy. An example is the boy that plays video games all day through adolescence and into adulthood, then complains about being so out of shape and without skill that he's unmarketable to women and employers. And failing to accept this reality leads to misery. If man can govern this disadvantage, the work avoidance nature within himself, he can find true lasting happiness, and he will know what to do when he's depressed and no one cares because he's not a chick. Part 2. Placebos. What you think will make you happy but will not. Having an obvious lack of something in life irritates you like an itch that never goes away. If you only had this one thing, you'd be happy, or so you think. But is this even true? Quite often the things that are cited as reasons to be displeased with one's lot in life are things like not having a desirable job they enjoy and can be proud of, not being wealthy, or at least wealthy enough, not being good-looking naturally, not being noticed or acknowledged by others, not having a special talent, and specifically for many guys, not having an adoring wife or girlfriend. These are setbacks in life, no doubt, but they are only obstacles to joy if you allow them to be. What if you were able to sample having these things for just one day, and by the end of that day you'd realize they wouldn't make you happy? What if you could see through the illusion that these things are only marketed to you as must-haves by social imperatives to serve society, rather than your dissatisfaction? Would you not be happy as a result of discovering this information? Many of these things won't make you really happy. You've just been duped into believing that they will, and once you attain them, there will be new things for you to feel you're lacking. It just never ends. Do not be discouraged by how poorly you were set up in life or how badly you've been set back. These disadvantages we are forced to accept and live with are not curses, but blessings masquerading and marketed as curses. The bad experiences serve a purpose far greater than the good ones. When you think about it, which had a greater impact on you? The times in your life when everything was going good and you had nothing to worry about? Or the times when you felt your life was a mess, the pressure was unbearable, and it seemed like it couldn't get any worse? During which of those times did you grow the most and become stronger? Which of those two made you a better person? A great example is when you're in a dissatisfying, loveless, sexless relationship, and you're using that relationship to practice being a stronger man. You take more risks, stand up to your bitchy girlfriend, do less for her, express pleasure, and make yourself your original point of concern. Since you no longer care about the relationship, you don't care if your self-concern ends it. You're using it as a learning experience to not end up like a cuck in your next one. The hard times make us. The disadvantages define us because they give us something we must rise above. And in that struggle to rise up, we find out what we're made of and capable of. These are the setbacks to be grateful for.
Thank you for listening to this free sample of the book, Reinvent Ideal: What to Do When You're Depressed and No One Cares Because You're Not a Chick, by Cairo Copeland. If you enjoyed it and want to hear or read the rest, or want to listen to it free of ads, visit reinventideal.com/ideal. The book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/ideal.